Okay, in this video I'm just going to talk about spotting tells online and how to exploit them, specifically by making excuse me, thin value calls. In this first hand, we've obviously got our target to the left here. We're on the button with ace 7-8-2, which in itself isn't a strong hand, but we're looking to play pots against this guy. His stats are 79, 55, 41, so he's playing really loose and aggressive. And in this particular hand, he raises from the cutoff, when itself doesn't mean an awful lot. I've got a fairly decent hand. The only thing that I would question in this hand is whether I should probably 3-bet here, and I think I probably should. It's probably just about good enough being double suited for that. But I was multi-tabling at the time, so I opted to just make a call. I think folding is a little bit too weak when you've got such an exploitable opponent. So I'll make the call, and it gets heads up anyway, and I flop top pair with an 8 high kicker, which obviously isn't a great hand in Omaha, but he checks, so I figure he hasn't got anything, so I just toss in a pot size bet, looking to take it down there. And he calls. At that point, I'm pretty much done with the hand. I don't see there's any real value in barreling away. He could have a better ace. That's certainly what I'm thinking at this point. He could have a flush draw. I don't really think he's looking to let the hand go when he check calls. And looking at his statistics in general, he goes to showdown 38% of the time. So I think when he's got a hand, he's certainly going to look to take it to showdown. So anyway, a 3 comes off on the turn, and as I say, I'm not looking to blow the pot up at this point. The 3 isn't particularly a scare card, but he could well have me beat at the moment, and if he has got me beat, I don't see him letting that hand go. So I'm just looking for a cheap showdown, so I check it back, and the river comes in an 8, which makes me 2 pair. Now I'm going to call any reasonable bet on the river now. The only hand I'm really afraid of at this point is runner hearts. I'm figuring I would have had more action from ace jack earlier in the hand. And so he tosses out a half pot bet, and I call, and I take down a small pot. Now at this point, he started berating me in chat. He didn't say an awful lot, and I can't remember what he said, but I certainly made a note of it. I didn't respond back with any meaningful chat. I was 5-6 tabling at the time, so I didn't have time to get involved in that kind of thing. But I figured that might be enough to set him off. At which point the next hand comes up. I'm just going to drag this in. This is the very next hand, and I've basically got really bad aces. You can't get aces much worse than that. I haven't got a suit, but it's 4-way, and I'm figuring the target will get involved. I still have a chance of flopping an ace, so I'm going to play this hand 4-way anyway. He re-raises me out of position, and it's something he does very quickly as well. At this point, I consider re-raising, but considering we're 300 big blinds deep, I'm really not thinking that's the best option, because this hand is going to be so difficult to play. You're not ever really going to have a clue where you are unless you flop an ace, which is about 14 to 1 shot or something like that. So I opt just to call and see what the flop brings, and probably just make play the hand in position, maybe look to make some good value bets or a good value call. I'm figuring he's on tilt, so I'm certainly not going to let the hand go just because he's 3-bet me. And we can see by his range here of king 3, 10, 8, I mean it's absolute garbage. So he is definitely on tilt, so my read at that point is correct. The flop is excellent for my hand. I mean, I couldn't wish for a better flop without flopping an ace. It's really unlikely he's connected with that board. That it's 3-tone. There's no obvious straight draws there. I mean, he could have 3, 4, 5, but even that I'm figuring is pretty unlikely given his 3-bet. So immediately he fires off. I think, okay, well, this is a easiest call of the day so far. I'm expecting him to kind of give up at this point, considering how he played the last hand, which was fairly passively, and a 3 comes off, which again doesn't concern me too much. He then insta-pots again, and at this point I'm thinking he really wants me to fold, and combined with my read in the previous hand, with him berating me, I'm thinking, okay, I can call this, and I'm still fairly confident that I'm ahead at this point. And then the 10 comes down on the river, which is another great card. I've either been ahead the whole time or I've been behind the whole time. It's really unlikely that he's caught trip 10s and made a boat at this point. I'm kind of expecting him to give up at this point, but he fires out the rest of his stack, which is just under a pot-sized bet. Now, I did actually think about this, not for too long. I called within a few seconds, as we can see, but it kind of wasn't too much of a tough decision because of how he'd played the previous hand and the fact that he'd berated me for not being able to let a hand go. I mean, I felt in the other hand, a perfect value call in. I had two pair, aces up. I felt, getting 3-1, it was a really fair call. He obviously disagreed, and he wanted to really have a go at me in this hand, I think, and that's certainly how it came across. That's certainly how he played it. But we did obviously make a fairly big call on the river, and sometimes we're going to make that exact same call, and we're going to be wrong. He's going to have caught 4-5 at some point. He's going to, have, been lucky enough to flop a set of 2s. Sometimes we are going to, get drawn out on along the way or be beaten. But in the majority of cases, in that type of situation where we have got a guy that we think is on tilt, we use the read, we make a fairly thin call, then more times than not we are going to be correct. And I guess one obvious question is why I didn't raise earlier in the hand. I said on the flop that I'm pretty confident that I've got the best hand. Well, the reason that I didn't raise was because I felt he was on tilt and that he would be barreling off with worse hands. If I raise at this point, there's once he fired us here, he's got king high, he's got no redraws. If I raise him here, I really can't see him coming over the top, and if he does come over the top, it is kind of a difficult decision. At this point, I'm happy to play a pot in position, but I definitely feel there's a lot more value in calling down this hand and trying to raise and get some value, which basically isn't there because he doesn't have anything better than king high until the river when he flops 3 10s. So yeah, that was just a short video on how to extract as much value as possible from a guy on tilt.